I just was really, really, really impressed with how we came out just wire to wire yesterday. This was the performance, I think, of the Fran Brown era. That
To
certainly I
date,
would look
to date,
to. Yeah, 100%. And
to
then
date.
even both sides of the ball, both
No, no, no,
coordinators.
no, no. Performance of the Fran Brown era to date.
I
There's
agree.
more. There's more coming. This is not the
No,
performance of the Fran Brown era. I promise you that. Taking
I
Miami out, that was to date. Taking Clemson out, that was to date. Everybody better watch out. I said this on X. You put a big money parlay. I saw Crane and Company. They put a big money parlay with all favorites. Oh, this is going to pay out. And I said, Fran Brown is coming to collect your lunch money. Don't ever bet against Fran Brown.
no.
You're watching Domed in Cuse, the quick hit podcast for real Orange fans. If you love Cuse sports, hit like and subscribe.
All right. Welcome back to Domed In. Do us a favor, like and subscribe. Wow, what a win.
Unbelievable. I mean, probably the most complete performance I can remember in a long time, probably a decade from the Orange against an opponent that quality. Just really an incredible game from us.
Incredible game. First win in Death Valley. I told you not to look up the record. Throw it out. It didn't matter.
We threw out the Death Valley woes, dude. It was nice to shake those off. And nice to do that to Clemson while they're down, man. It's nice to be able to do that and just go in there, 18-point dog. I mean, that looked like a complete fallacy pretty much from the opening kick. Like there was really not a doubt in that game that Syracuse looked like the better team from like really the opening jump. And I don't think the public at all thought that had a chance at happening. That's for sure.
I think I told you this yesterday when we were texting. Is just that felt like old school Syracuse basketball in terms of the viewing experience. Like back when we were good at basketball, and it was just like we went down to places. Didn't matter where the environment was. Didn't matter how good or the other team was supposed to be, or how many NFL, NBA guys they had. Syracuse would just go down. We would comfortably win, wire to wire. We would feel like the better team. We would look like the better team. We would look like the better coach team, which was a
Totally.
staple of Boeheim teams and is looking like it's hopefully going to be a staple of Fran Brown teams. We just looked excellent yesterday, and I'm very impressed. It was a great viewing experience as a fan.
Totally. There was nothing fluky about that win in the slightest. And like you're saying, it was just wire to wire. There was no fluke, pick six or funky fumble or anything like that. It was just honestly the Orange taking it to Clemson again from the opening bell.
So let's dive into the game review. You guys know how this goes. We're gonna do game flow. We're gonna do key plays. We're gonna do our 3 stars of the game. Little stealing it from hockey traditions there. Find our 3 best players just on the Orange. No, nobody else from other teams. And then finally, media availability. We'll talk about some of the stuff that was said, maybe pregame or postgame, and kind of wrap it up in a nice bow. All right, so let's jump into our game flow. Um, so first thing I want to say is I liked starting with the ball in this game. I know a lot of times teams want to do the whole kick it, get the ball at half. You get the chance for kind of that double possession if you could score at the end of half and get the ball back. Personally, I liked having the ball to start, get a lead. I think one of the things we talked about in our preview episode that was going to be very important if we actually wanted to pull off the upset was a 2-score lead, right? And getting the ball first, marching down, scoring a touchdown was key to that. So, that first drive, Willis has a big 32-yard run. Then Angeli's tossing the ball all around the yard. Angeli does run the ball, gets a little hurt, which, ends up being a bigger factor later in the game. And then really just starts dicing him up. He had a big completion to Jonte and then a big touchdown to JRS. JRS gives him the little boy, gotcha. And then, as we get into maybe the biggest play of the game, credit to Brumfield, special teams coach for Syracuse. He's been excellent this year all around, but the decision here to onside kick, Fran basically said it was all his idea. The decision there to onside kick and go for it and get the ball. I mean, it surprised me. It surprised Clemson. It surprised everybody in the world that we did that there. And it was perfectly executed. It looked really well drilled, really well coached So credit to that special teams unit, which was great all day today. And that onside kick really changed the game. We were able to get that 2-score lead we were talking about. We then went down and scored a field goal right after that. Clemson then gets the ball, and Clemson in 5 minutes or so scores a touchdown to make it 10-7. And then in a critical drive, we basically run the ball down their throat. 9 plays, 75 yards, 3 minutes. Right as the second quarter starts, first play of the second quarter, Nixon walks into the end zone. I mean, he could have run backwards into the end zone if he wanted to on his touchdown. Syracuse defense then stands up, gets a big punt. Syracuse then goes down and scores what was a huge touchdown at the time, because it really put Clemson under a lot of pressure, which we had talked about wanting to do, forcing them to have to pass the ball a lot more than they probably would have wanted to, and kind of took their run game away from them, which really helped our defense because, put a lot of pressure on our secondary, but our secondary was just so good in this game. So Darryl Gill had an excellent touchdown. Then we trade some punts. Clemson comes down and scores to cut the lead to 24-14. Syracuse gets the ball with like a little over 2 minutes left. Oh, sorry, with a little bit less than 2 minutes left. And I said this to you. I said Clemson should not touch this ball again. What do? Clemson's able to get the ball back with like 16 seconds. They get to about the half field, and they're kind of within field goal range. And Dabo just absolutely bungles it. Unbelievable that he messed that up. It was 24-14. If they were able to kick a field goal there, it's a one-possession game, and they get the ball to start the half. That would have felt like a very different game for me. So that was key. Then we have a major weather delay. What was it, 2-hour weather delay or something like that? That leads to kind of a weird way to start the second half, and I said this to you. Clemson runs the same play 3 times on the first drive of the second half. It's that weird sweep toss to the running back to get him on the outside. They run it 3 times. We cannot stop it. Then they try to run the ball up the middle. They get tackled. Then they try to start passing it, and they end up having to punt the ball. So I did think because they started by running the ball a bunch, it did wake up our defense. Our defense was able to get a little bit physical, a little bit in contact, a little bit in the flow of the game, which I think helped us. We then decided to go down the field passing the ball, which I love to see. Don't let their defense warm up, go right for the throat. We ended up getting a field goal on that drive, which was big. Then, in one of the key sequences of the game, they get the ball, and they are driving down the field. They get it to about 3rd and 1 at our 44. Klubnik runs, big stuff by Gary Bryant. Then on 4th down and 1, because I don't know why they felt like they needed to pass here. I can't believe they didn't just run like QB power with Klubnik again, because I feel like it would have worked against us, honestly. But they decide to pass, and Bryant makes another big play here in coverage. Jamie Tremble makes an excellent play. This is definitely one we're going to break down in our film room episode. But Tremble does a good job getting Klubnik off his spot, delaying the timing of the route, which allows Bryant to come in, make a big hit on Williams, break up the pass, and the defense gets a huge stop.
Huge stop.
A few traded punts, and then maybe what we might look back at as the play of the season, and not in a good way for Syracuse. Steve Angeli goes down, and I want to take a second to interrupt the game flow here, just kind of talk about this. So we love Angeli here. We thought Angeli has been excellent for Syracuse. We love everything he's done for us. This one hurts.
It's heartbreaking, dude. Like, you could feel for Steve on the field. You could feel for the whole team on the sideline. And I think the team did obviously rally around and really want to get this game for him. But I mean, there's no other way to put this, and this one really hurts. Like, I think we were talking about it throughout this first half, but we were really, really, really clicking in this game. Like, Steve looked great. He looked like he was really comfortable in this offense. And it just hurts, man. Like, it's just kind of sometimes how Syracuse football goes, right? We're in the middle of probably the best game we've played as a unit, 4 quarters in a long time, and naturally our quarterback likely probably tears his Achilles and is out for a year. So uh solemn moment. I don't know, or somber moment, I should say. There, just it just is. It's tough. It's a tough one to reconcile. I woke up honestly sad this morning thinking about the game and Steve and kind of what this means for him and the team.
Yeah, I think we want to go touch on really is we feel terrible for the kid. I mean, I know you're talking a little bit about Syracuse and for us, and we were talking about that, but really, I do want to focus on really tough for Angeli, man. Like, again, we love this kid since he came to Syracuse. He's been a great teammate. His teammates clearly love him. He seems like a great kid. He's done everything we could have hoped he would do to start at Syracuse. And when it comes down to it, I think the main thing is, like you said, he was clicking, and not just for Syracuse, but for himself. Obviously it's been a windy road for him to get to be the guy at a big D1 program. And he was clicking ever since that fourth quarter against UConn when he made that touchdown throw to JRS, and then playing against Colgate. I know it's only UConn and Colgate, but there was something there that just looked different. He started to feel more comfortable. He started to really dice teams. Even early in the UConn game and against Tennessee, there was a lot of erratic play from him. It was up and down, and there was potential turnovers he was throwing. Since that touchdown with JRS in the midway through the fourth quarter of UConn, he's completely eliminated that. He completely eliminated that. He was getting real comfortable. In this game, he was looking excellent. I don't think he missed like one throw. Maybe he missed one throw, I think, that I remember. And that was just an incompletion long over everyone's head. But he basically took away all the stuff that we were complaining about in the beginning of erratic play, potential turnovers, that kind of stuff, and just cut it out and started playing just excellent.
Your heart breaks for the kid, man. Like he just, like we said, you could see it all coming together for him. Like he was really looking comfortable, and like the first half of this game, like you would have been shocked who the first round prospect quarterback was if someone told you, and you had never seen these guys play before. Angeli looked like the better player in this game.
Much better player than Klubnik.
It wasn't
and
even.
We don't like Klubnik anymore, but still, Angeli was looking excellent.
He looked like the better player in this game, and it really is. It's heartbreaking for the kid. Obviously, you're hoping it's not as bad as it looked. It appears that it probably is, and it's going to be a long road to recovery for him. But yeah, it just kind of is what it is, man. It's a bummer. It's football. Like guys do get hurt, and he's he knows he's got this risk playing the game, but it hurts when it felt like we were really starting to find our stride, and obviously he was personally just as a player and a leader on this team.
Let's go, Ricky, baby. We're excited for Ricky. We think there's a lot that can be done. Obviously, I've made it well known on this podcast that I love a running quarterback in college. I think it adds a dimension for the defenses that's really hard for them to match up against a lot of times. So I'm excited. Let's hope Nixon can start cooking stuff up for Ricky in the future here. That'll really help us. But as far as the rest of this game flow, there's a key play here that goes right after Angeli fumbles. Literally, I mean, Angeli gets hurt. Ricky throws an incompletion, and literally the next play we have on defense, Antoine. I mean, this is our guy. This has been our guy. We love this guy. Unbelievable. He comes up. He makes a huge play for the defense. Like, it's just unbelievable. Antoine, unbelievable. What a play.
The Frenchman strikes again, dude. Coming in with the punch. Antoine was looking to lay some hits yesterday. He was feeling that game. I think he liked the physicality that Clemson honestly kind of was bringing in that. Just another huge play from the freshman, dude. This was a major point in the game that really gave us kind of that cushion with the backup quarterback in that we'll kind of talk about.
So exactly. So, right, we have a backup quarterback in. What do you want to do for your backup quarterback? You want to get him some confidence, right? We want to get Ricky confidence throwing the ball. So getting a huge turnover that basically puts you on the other team's, where were we here? Basically puts you on the other team's 20-yard line, 18-yard line, right? So that huge play by Antoine fumble recovery by Perry. Good job by him jumping on the ball there. But the key here is now you have a chance in plus territory to take a shot with Ricky. Throw the ball down the field to the end zone and see if you can't catch this team slipping a little bit. And what do? We throw the ball right away to the end zone, right to JRS. It's a good throw by Ricky. He basically puts it in his bread basket where only JRS is making this catch. He literally sticks it to his numbers, right on his numbers, right here in his chest. And JRS doesn't even see the ball, but he catches it, and we get a touchdown. So that touchdown really, I think, as you said, kind of put the game out of reach. It went 34-14 then, and the defense was able to hold. We got turnover on downs. We let up a touchdown, but then we get an interception and turnover on downs to end the game. So pretty much from there on, the defense held out in the fourth quarter. But getting that touchdown from Ricky right away, I think it gives Ricky some confidence. It gave the team some confidence. It gave that defense more life. You know, when you get that turnover, that gives the defense a ton of life. So the defense gets a ton of life there, a big turnover, big play, and that kind of sealed the game, I think. I think that sequence of plays, Angeli gets injured, Antoine makes a massive play for your defense, and then Ricky throws a touchdown, seals the game in a way that you needed to once Angeli went down. So that's really the game flow. That's then how it ended, and just an all-around excellent performance from everybody on the team.
100%. I think that's the big takeaway. Just really a complete performance from the Orange, and like you said, that last sequence, I think really firmly kind of put the game away, getting us up the full 3 scores with the backup. It felt like the cushion that we felt comfortable with, kind of just kind of maneuvering through the rest of the game. Right, we could kind of play conservative. We could lean heavy on the run game. I just was really, really, really impressed with how we came out just wire to wire yesterday. This was the performance, I think, of the Fran Brown era. That certainly I would look to. Yeah, 100%. And then even both sides of the ball, both coordinators.
No. Performance of the Fran Brown era to date.
I agree.
There's more. There's more coming. This is not the performance of the Fran Brown era. I promise you that. Taking Miami out, that was to date. Taking Clemson out, that was to date. Everybody better watch out. I said this on X. You put a big money parlay. I saw Crane and Company. They put a big money parlay with all favorites. Oh, this is going to pay out. And I said, Fran Brown is coming to collect your lunch money. Don't ever bet against Fran Brown.
All right, so that was your game flow. Let's jump into key plays here. Key play number 1, the onside kick. We talked about it. It is the major talking point for us. Getting up 2 scores, the game flow is very important. You know, taking Clemson, putting them under pressure, making this game about Klubnik was important. I think, you know, making it on his shoulders. I think we both felt comfortable going against him when it was on his shoulders. And then, you know, just being able to get up the 2 possessions, but stealing a possession, catching them by surprise, just that's got to be a key play.
100%. I mean, this was just so ballsy. It was so awesome. I mean, it caught the whole broadcast off guard. Like, you didn't even see it live on TV. They tracked the ball down the field as if he kicked it. This was just amazing. And it was such a confidence boosting play for the team. It just kept us on the gas to start the game. And like you said, man, we talked about it. Starting up against this Clemson team is so important. If you can kind of get Klubnik to start playing hero ball as early as you can in the game, that's the recipe to win against Clemson. And that's exactly what we did yesterday. Huge kudos to Coach Brumfield, because this was incredibly well executed. It's clearly something we practiced. I thought they were going to try and pull some review nonsense on us, but I think it clearly went 10 yards, just perfectly executed by the crew.
Perfectly executed. That was well drilled. It was definitely something we were looking to do. So excellent pregame planning and excellent in-game execution. Credit to Brumfield.
Something we definitely saw on film too, dude. Like that's a film play. You see that first line of Clemson guys aren't looking at the kicker and they're just starting to retreat downfield. That's when you sneak that little kicker pooch to himself. Just really well done by the staff.
And then part of that too was we had a big 4th down conversion on that drive, right? So not necessarily a key play, but a sub key play here.
Jonte Cook on 4th down, making a big catch for us, basically getting us down into field goal range where we then end up, stalling out. We ended up stalling out there, and that's just one of the things I didn't love from Nixon. I thought Nixon was great. One of the things I didn't love from Nixon there was first down and 5 yards to go. I've been saying this. Give it to Willis 4 times, and he's going to get in the end zone. If you are going to pass it, I think you've got to pass it on 1st down when they're expecting it. Instead, we went with like this super heavy formation, brought in all our tight ends, and ran Willis right up the middle. It was the most obvious thing we were going to do. Then we rolled out on 2nd down and tried a pass play. He was open, but they kind of knew it was coming. They were well positioned for it. They were able to bat it down at the line. And then again, on 3rd down, now they know we're passing. Leads to another one knocked down at the line. Now, both times guys were open in the end zone, but Clemson was well positioned for it. So I do feel like, 1st and 5, we have Willis. I would like to spread teams out and then just run it right up the gut with him.
Totally. And we kind of did that later in the game with Nixon. We spread it out when we got there, and on that 3rd drive, we spread it out, and then we just handed it to Will, and he just kind of walked right in on I think a 9-yard touchdown there, right when we got kind of goal to go. So I agree. One thing I did want to note, though, knowing you are the leader of this hive, great kick there.
Great kick.
Goal situation.
Kick it meter. Yeah.
Goal, get that 2-possession lead. That was a full stamp of approval from the kick meter.
Kick meter was great for that. It was also great for the 4th down going for it, because I've said this. I am a kick it guy, but I'm not necessarily a punt it guy. Those are different things, right? Like 4th and 2 in the opposition's end, I think you got to go for that. So excellent job getting aggressive there to make sure you get up 2 scores. But then once you're inside the red zone, you're inside the 5, not scoring there and keeping that as a 1-possession game after you stole the possession on the onside kick would have been a disaster. You had to kick there. You had to get up 2 possessions and put that Clemson team under pressure. So that whole sequence was really excellently coached by us.
100%. And it bared out exactly to what you're talking about, right? Like, we got up 10, we immediately give back a touchdown, but you still have the lead. Just the psychology of still being ahead there. I think it's hard to put that value on a team. Like, we're still up 10-7. Then we have a super confident drive where we get that one Gill pass, and then we're going to run it down your throat for another score. That 17-7 lead really felt like we were in control of this game, in my opinion.
Totally. So we go up 17-7, as you're saying, and then our next key play is actually Gill's touchdown catch to make it 24-7. So just as you're saying, you give up a touchdown to make it a 1-score game, you immediately get the 2-score game back. Your defense gets you the ball, and then you're able to go out and get another touchdown to really extend that lead. When this game went 24-7, it felt like it changed. We had the mascot do surrender Cobra on the sidelines. That was funny. The whole and then just the fans, like, you could see it when Gill actually ends up almost going into the stands there when he makes his catch, but you could just see it from the fans. It's like pure shock and panic. It's like 17-7, whatever. Okay, we come back at 24-7. It's like, whoa, what happened? So that to me was another key play.
Totally. And just the swagger of that touch. Like, we were texting during the game. That was a touchdown literally the moment the ball was snapped. Like, they were cover 0. Steve
was gone.
Steve was cocky when he made that throw. Like, there was swagger to that. And he knew he was going to Darryl the moment that ball was snapped. You can't run cover 0 against us like that. Like,
not with the talent we have on the outside.
Puts the ball just up in the air so Gill can go get it. Nice soft hands in the bread basket.
Good job by Angeli putting the ball up in the air like that. Most college receivers don't make that catch.
No, but he's like we said, playmaker. Put it up for your guy. Make a play.
Totally.
And we got the guys.
Most college kids don't make that catch.
No.
They juggle it. They don't catch it clean. They step out of bounds. They're scared of running into the wall. Gill, nah, whatever.
No.
All right. Key play number 3, the end of the half. So Clemson scores on a touchdown on what was just, we love E-Rob. We thought E-Rob had a great game, but he went to that soft shell zone that we do at these end of half situations. And he did it for their last 2 drives. And it is so obvious what we're doing. It's so easy to pass against. And it's just like, does the other team have enough time to get the ball down the field and score? Because we're going to give you the yards. We're going to literally hand you 8 yards of play if you want. and it's just terrible. They score. We get the ball back with about a minute or so left. We talked about this in game flow. We get the ball with about a minute or so left. I said to you, we cannot give them the ball. We end up giving them the ball with like 20 seconds left.
One thing there, though, just before we shouldn't have given them the ball back. That was a bad penalty by Willis on 3rd and 1, where he had the false start as a running back. Can't make that mistake. That was a mistake that could have cost us more significantly. That's one. He's a young player. He'll fix that. But that was one. That's a mistake. That's a very coachable mistake that we just can't make that one again.
Can't make that mistake. Totally agree. But anyway, they do get the ball back. They end up driving it down to just about field goal range. And I know they're not confident in their kicker situation, but to do what they did and try a Hail Mary was crazy.
This was coaching malpractice from Dabo. This was just like a complete mismanagement of this situation.
It's 24-14. We've talked how important it was for us to have the 2-score lead. Clemson gets the ball to start the second half. If they kick a field goal and make it, it is all of a sudden a 1-score game. And considering they had a 2-hour weather delay, if that's a 1-score game, that feels completely different coming into the second half. Completely different.
Oh, totally. And I mean, just the whole sequence, though, right? I mean, they get the huge running play where we're just not really ready for it. They get it down. They spike the ball with 5 seconds left, but they have a timeout. Then they burn the timeout before they snap the next play. That was part of it. They were going to take a 5-yard penalty. They burn the timeout to, I guess, save the yardage. Then they run the quick play, quick pass that probably should have been complete. We weren't ready for it. The ball goes out of bounds. At that point, you've used the timeout to save the yards. Kick the field goal, right? Like you just did that to save the 5-yard penalty. Kick the field goal. You can bury Dabo a million different ways. I kind of think he's like an old dog that you're just screaming at this point. He clearly is just not. He's not the coach he was 5 years ago or have the same aura around that program. But good Lord, this was a disaster class from him at the end of the half. And like, if I'm the fan base, that's debatably the sequence I'm pointing at that like, dude, you've got to clean this up. This isn't a talent. This isn't a you're figuring out coaching thing. Like this is a 101. You can't mangle an end of half situation.
And I think we both talked about it at the time. The big mistake there was once you spiked the ball, they should have got right up and ran it. They should have ran it right again. You have the timeout. You just tell your running back, get 5 yards, get down.
Yeah.
And then you take the timeout, you get your 5 yards, and you try the field goal.
Yeah.
I mean, just a crazy, terrible end of half. I honestly would have just kicked the field goal at 5 seconds, personally. It's a long field goal. You miss it, whatever. But I would have kicked the field goal.
It was a chance at points, and I think they said the kicker, while he wasn't, I think he had some struggles, like had a career long of like mid to high 50s. Like he had.
No, it was right around there. They were right around the career long, and it was a long field goal. Don't get me wrong, but they're clearly not confident in their kicker. He has to kick the ball there though, because like I said, going into the half at a 1-possession game, it just changes that game.
So, and I feel like missing a long field goal, isn't the momentum shift that like mangling an end of half situation is. Like when you do that and it just looks in disarray, like your team does not feel good walking into the locker room after that. Even if you miss a long field goal, there's a little bit of confidence the offense can have. Like, look, we got us in position. We did what we were supposed to do. Let's go out.
We had 20 seconds. We did what we could. It was a long field goal, so you don't feel, your kicker doesn't feel bad either.
When you go out there and look disorganized and throw the ball out of bounds and call a timeout because the play clock's running down, you just don't look like you have any idea what you're trying to do. Then the field goal unit's on the field and they're off the field. It's like, who's coaching? And
they didn't kick one field goal in that game.
No. They were not part of the take the points hive.
Them in Nebraska too.
Yep. And it hurt them both.
Somebody who lost money on that game, Matt Rule, clean that shit the fuck up.
Both of us, or maybe just me.
All right. Second half, as we get to the key plays, it's all about the defense. The first one, and I'm really excited to break this one down when we get to the film room, is the 4th and 1 stop. Gary Bryant makes a great play on 3rd and 1 to get it to be 4th and 1. Again, I don't know why Clemson isn't just trying to run the ball down our throats twice. I think they're going to get it if they do. They don't. They decide to, make a little pass play. Now the pass play's there. Williams is running a rub route as a drag. He is open. Jamie Tremble is able to get in the backfield, force Klubnik off his spot, delays the timing of the play, kind of doesn't make it work, and then Bryant is able to just lay the lumber on Williams as he's trying to make a catch. So excellent job, 2 plays in a row by Bryant where he just makes great plays to keep them and get a turnover on downs.
Totally. And I think one thing about Gary Bryant to somebody that Fran clearly has a soft spot for. I don't know if you saw on the sideline after Bryant made that huge breakup, Fran was ecstatic coming out to greet him and congratulate him from the sideline. This kid who I think comes from a pretty rough background, like he is not a traditional story to Syracuse by any means. Obviously, he was a transfer from South Dakota. And we know he's playing with injuries, but good Lord, this is a huge couple plays for him to stand up Klubnik, put a hit on him. And then, honestly, like you said, I think he knocked Williams pretty much out of this game with this hit. Like he
just a kidney
comes
shot
down. He's like, I'm just not going to let him make this catch on this play.
Or I'm going to punish him for making the catch. You know what I'm saying? Like he's going to have to really feel me if he wants to hold on to this. Because,
call him a man's man, dude. That was a man's man hit on a huge sequence in the game.
Two man's hit because Klubnik didn't hit Klubnik and then fall backwards and Klubnik gets a couple yards. No. He hit Klubnik and Klubnik went boop.
Totally.
Also, by the way, just so everybody knows, Jackson Meeks makes that catch that Antonio Williams doesn't make. And Antonio Williams can go on and be in the NFL, blah, blah, blah. Jackson Meeks is an NFL player. That's all I'm going to say about that. Again, though, the stop there is key because, again, it's 27-14 Syracuse. If they get that first down and they go and score, it's, again, 1-possession game. Then as we get to our 5th key play, it's kind of a key sequence, I think, for us here. Our key play is Antoine forcing the fumble, which essentially virtually ends the game. Antoine forces the fumble right after Steve gets hurt. He forces the fumble. We get the ball at the 18. We take a shot with Ricky. The only reason we get to take a shot with Ricky is we're in plus territory after a turnover. It also gets the defense a lot of hype at that moment. And Ricky makes a great throw to JRS. Great catch. We're now up at 3 scores again. So, great 4th down stop. We get the ball back. Angeli gets hurt. We have to punt. Still 2-score game. If they score, it could be a 1-score game going into the 4th quarter. And now we're on our backup quarterback. The game was in a spot right there to unravel for us. Like that game is ready to be unraveled if Antoine does not punch that ball out and then Ricky throws a touchdown.
I literally think I texted you like before this play started, like I think I'm gonna cry because like it was clear that Steve just had a severe injury, right? Like he could not put any weight on it. Like you see something like that with the reaction, it's like that's serious. And like we had to punt it right back, and it was like, goodness gracious, there is a lot of time on the clock, and we're only up 2 possessions here. Like we kind of need something to happen. And
yeah, you said I'm gonna cry, and I said we need a turnover.
Seriously. And then literally the Frenchman pops up again, punches it out. Again, great attack there just to go right to JRS for a touchdown. A little review luck too, like it was not the cleanest catch. Didn't get a conclusive view. We will take it,
Also, I don't want to take full credit for Antoine's performance. But my uncle did come into town yesterday from Montreal, bringing some Montreal bagels, and Montreal bagels are outstanding. So he brought some flavor of the hometown down to New York. And I'm not going to take all the credit, but I'll take some of the credit for, snacking on a Montreal bagel while Antoine was having a fucking field day out there.
I didn't know you had the winds flowing from up north.
We brought in reinforcements, and it worked. It came at a perfect time. All right, let's jump into our 3 stars of the game. Number 3, starting with number 3, Raheem Long. So Raheem Long, we started the season, and one of the things we talked about was, Raheem's going to need to play. He in the Tennessee game, the critical play where They rushed the ball at the end of the half. He kind of took a terrible angle and didn't help us out on that one. Ever since then, he's been phenomenal. I mean, he's had a really, really good season. And this was a game where Deuce was out, something we didn't mention already, which I can't believe it took this long to mention. Deuce being out, crazy. Deuce was out, and we needed somebody to step up in that spot. And Brahim Long did that. He was excellent all game. I thought the taunting penalty he got was such bullshit. I mean, that was just classic giving Clemson a lifeline. Like, I know Fran shoot him out, and I'm okay with Fran, wanting discipline and saying like that's selfish and all that. But at the end of the day, he was smacking his helmet like, let's go. And if he was standing over the guy, it's because he just hit him. Like college football with this whole like taunting thing that they're trying to, it's just gross, dude. Shut up. Let the kids play.
That was goofy.
Let the fucking kids play. Jesus Christ. But Brahim Long was excellent. I think he had, let me check out the stats. I think he had 8 tackles. He had our only sack of the game, which was on the play I just mentioned. Had 8 tackles, 1 sack, 1 tackle for loss, and a pass deflection. That's being all over the field.
Yep.
And our secondary was awesome. Samuel, Peel, Perry, any of those guys could really be in this spot. They all were really, really good yesterday. Kerr, any of those guys could be in this third spot, honestly. But we wanted to go 2 guys in the secondary on our 3 stars because the secondary was so good. The top 2 stars and the number 2 star, I think this one's going to be obvious. I mean, Devin Grant, DG 23, 10 tackles, 8 of them solo, 2 tackles for loss, 2 huge tackles for loss, which we'll definitely look at in the film room, 1 pass deflection. We lost Deuce for this game, but we picked up Grant. That was key. I mean, we couldn't not have both of them. Like, if we didn't have both of them, that would have been a disaster. Fran was saying that DG was sick going into the Tennessee game, and then he hurt his ankle, and he hasn't really been himself, and he's been itching to show what he could do. And this was him kind of showing what he could do. Wow. I mean, Devin Grant, we know he's that good, but wow, he was excellent.
Yeah, Grant looked like an NFL player. He looked like an NFL defensive there. He looked like our clear best defensive player out there.
I would say the best defensive player on the field, including all those NFL prospects from Clemson. He looked way better than any of those guys.
There wasn't much popping on the Clemson defense yesterday, that's for sure. He was phenomenal yesterday. He just made plays all over the field, in the backfield, really sure-handed open field tackling too. Just made a couple plays in space on guys where if he doesn't get the guy on the ground, and actually that happened a few times with the secondary overall. Just really, really great game from your defensive leader back there, especially with Deuce out. And even just to touch on Long quickly too, his transformation or just growth is huge. It's something you've talked about a ton, about getting guys reps, and that will have a value over time, right? Like that's value that you're building. Look, he had a rough play against Tennessee. That's a learning moment. Now 3 games later against Clemson, he's making a huge 4th down stop from the back of the defense, coming up and hitting Klubnik, making plays coming downhill and on defense and in the back, or crashing down like on short routes, getting pass breakups. Like he was really, really impactful yesterday. Like we talked about it. He did a hell of a Deuce and Chestnut impression yesterday. Like you would not have known that was Brahim Long and not Deuce Chestnut if you weren't looking at the name on the back of the jersey yesterday. Like that's seriously how solid he was.
Totally. So DG, Brahim Long, but let's not forget about the rest of the guys. Peel, Samuel were locked down. Those are 2 guys we talked about. How are they going to look when they go up against NFL quality receivers? They looked excellent. They looked absolutely excellent. And Kerr too. So those guys who really played a lot in the secondary. Perry was another guy who was a big tackler for us as well. Like those kind of 6 guys who really rotated in our secondary and played kind of big, big minutes for us back there. They were excellent in this game. Excellent.
Totally. And like you said, dude, like whether the Clemson offense has been great this year or not, I don't know that we're playing a better trio of receivers for the rest of the year than Williams, Wesco, and Moore out
No.
Like, that's 3 very good. Williams is probably a first round pick, and Wesco is another draftable player. Like, that's a really good trio of receivers, and our secondary was fully up to the task.
And I mean, Williams changes the game for that team. Like, he really does. I don't think he played much after he got smoked by Gary Bryant. He didn't. He kind of, that was kind of it for him. But he had 5 catches for 50 yards. I mean, TJ Moore had 8 catches for 92, and Wesco had 6 for 80. So they were still productive because they're NFL quality guys.
Didn't feel like that.
It didn't. We shut them down. So I credit to our secondary. Our secondary was really excellent in this game. That's why they got 2 out of the 3 stars. But there's a lot of guys that could have been stars. There was only one guy that could have been the number 1 star in this one. Only one guy. Jonte Cook. I mean, what an excellent game, dude. He had 6 catches for 113 yards and 1 rush for 18 yards, 131 all-purpose yards from Jonte Cook yesterday, and he popped. Man, watching back on the film, like watching back the game, it was like, whoa, Jonte Cook was excellent, man. And I mean, like, he also had one of the biggest plays of the game, I thought, which was when Ricky came in and there was like a 3rd and 4 or something. Ricky threw kind of like a short, screen kind of pass to him, and Jonte swiped it from a defender. Great catch, sure-handed catch, and then went and got the 5 yards that we needed for the first down. And I mean, that, then took another minute or so off the clock. And at a time of the game when you're up, a few scores and all you're doing is playing against the clock, trying to bleed it, those little plays matter a lot. So Jonte was excellent. He had a lot of big catches. He had another big catch on 4th down with Steve early in the game. He had a really long catch over the middle from our own territory that kind of set us up for a field goal, I think, at one point, or maybe that was right before Angeli got hurt, actually. It might have been on that drive.
But it was our first score of the second half to go 27-14. Play down the middle of the field. But look, Jonte was awesome yesterday, and you could see it first drive or 2 of the game. Like, he was dialed in, ready to play. Like, he made a catch on that first drive over the middle from Angeli, and then that second drive, he made a couple big catches over the middle. The big one on that 4th and 2 after the onside kick, which was big to just get us some points.
And it was also 2nd and 10. He made the catch to get it to 4th and 2, and then he made the catch to.
Exactly. On a similar route, like, we ISO'd him against Avion Terrell, again, an NFL prospect, and Jonte dusted him. Like, easy, quick move, inside, open. That's what a quarterback needs, as a safety blanket from a slot receiver, and he looked that part yesterday for sure.
Let's jump into some honorable mentions here from the 3 stars. So, Willis, who I mentioned to you as a potential 3-star, and you're like, oh, I don't know. And then we looked at the stats: 18 carries for 94 yards.
Totally. And I think you touched on it on that opening drive of the game. 3 straight runs to Mr. Willis to start the game, including a 30-yarder. We set the tone from the opening kick. We are going to bully this team. We
had another drive right after they scored the touchdown that was basically one throw to Gill and then all runs with Willis, Nixon. Nixon capped that off with a touchdown. But Nixon, again, we talked about this. Willis got 18 carries yesterday, pretty close to that 20, and he had another reception for 7 yards, and he had another one that he should have caught that he dropped on a screen. So that's about 20 touches he should have had yesterday at least. That's the minimum we've wanted from Willis. But that also, we've talked about, that doesn't mean we don't want Nixon to get the ball. We want Nixon to still be really involved. He had 10 carries for 46 yards, and he had 3 catches for 23 yards. So the running backs were excellent. Part of that group, though, the offensive line. I mean, the offensive line yesterday against what is
unreal,
probably the best defensive line we're going to see all year, loaded with NFL stars. Their one non-NFL potential star, Will Helt, is probably their best player right now, and he was really good in that game, besides being a scumbag and trying to injure Angeli with targeting hits that aren't called. Overall, though, I thought the offensive line was really excellent. They opened up lanes. They pushed Clemson off the line. They did a great job in protection for the most part, and Angeli got the ball out a lot quicker in this game.
So that's unfortunate because, again, another thing Angeli had kind of cleaned up. But again, I would say overall, the offensive line, everybody on it deserves big kudos because they played really, really well.
100%, dude. I mean, we talked about we have to protect Steve, and there was no protection gaps this week. I mean, we've had a number of just blown protections in the first 3 weeks. There was not a single one today. We were very buttoned up with that unit. It was clear the communication was fixed. Whatever was happening at the line of scrimmage that we were not picking up or properly passing off to guys was not a factor today. That group was honestly unreal. They dominated that game. Our offensive line dominated what was a very, very good Clemson defensive line all day long.
Another honorable mention here, Antoine Delorier. We talked about him, not only with that, the forced fumble, but man, was he laying hits on guys. So he had 6 tackles. I remember one that was on a pass route where their tight end caught it, and
Yep.
Antoine just came and laid the lumber on him, dude.
Antoine seemed to love the physicality of the game yesterday, which is what you want to see from a young linebacker. Like, the guy's physically ready to play against a team like Clemson. We can't say that about every freshman that comes into the program. And most teams can't, right?
And he's getting better. That's the number one thing I've seen. Like, every game, I feel like Antoine is getting better and better. And it's kind of what you were talking about Brahim Long before in the 3-star segment of, like, like how good Brahim Long has gotten, and his confidence is going up, and he just looked better and better. Antoine has gotten better and better every single game. I'm really excited to see where this kid ends the season, because right now he just looks like he is ready to play at this level, like you're saying. But he's also getting better, and it's the same thing with, like, Samuel, right? Like, I said this on X, like, Samuel has gotten better every quarter. Like, every quarter he looks like he's a better player.
Totally. It should be exciting for fans, even though obviously we're working through kind of a bittersweet victory a little bit yesterday. The improvement we're seeing from our young guys, and Fran has been in the ears of the entire fan base about it in the media. It's just like, just wait. These guys are going to start contributing, and we're seeing it. We're starting to see it, and they're making game-changing plays. Like, this is now the second time Antoine has made a hugely impactful play in the second half of a huge game. That's huge from a freshman, man. It's just huge. Like, this is a guy who's now going to be a part of our defense here for the next 3 years, and is hopefully just a pillar of our defense in this era.
Another guy, JRS,
Dude.
2 touchdowns. I mean, how do you catch 2 touchdowns as a receiver? How do you have 5 catches for 53 yards and not getting the 3 stars? Because this is just what we expect from this freaking guy.
I mean, a monster in the red zone right now. I mean, literally, like, it is not a bad option right now when we get to the 15-yard line to just snap the ball and throw it to the transformer on the outside right now. I mean, he's boxing out every corner in the end zone. Like, I seriously don't think there's a DB in the ACC that can match up with him physically. He's just
because Terrell's probably the only one, and they didn't want to put him on him because we have too many weapons. Speaking of weapons, Daryl Gill. Daryl Gill only had 2 catches yesterday.
They were awesome.
They were both highlight reels. Like, he had a touchdown and he had a beautiful toe tap. I mean, get out of here.
That, like, limp leg toe tap on the sideline was an incredible catch. And, like, I think we talked about it, set up that the rest of that third drive where then we just ran the ball like 7 more times down the field, ending in a Nixon touchdown. Our receivers are a problem, dude. Like,
Villari, again, another guy, 4 catches, 41 yards, solid game from him.
Like, we're matching up with a team like Clemson, right, that is supposed to be loaded with 4- and 5-star players, right, particularly at skill positions. We look like the more talented group at skill positions, particularly on offense, man. Like, our receivers are a problem. We are going to put pressure on every team on the outside. And, yeah, we're going to have to, adjust some things with the new quarterback. But we have horses on the outside, man, and they put pressure on other teams' defenses.
But I think one of the things with Ricky coming in, as you're saying, we have to adjust. But one of the things that I don't think we have to adjust is just finding ways to get our playmakers the ball. And if that means we have to throw a little bit simpler routes for Ricky, especially in the beginning, and we have to throw, more screens or more, drag routes and stuff like that for our receivers that are make it a little bit easier for Ricky in the beginning, I don't think that's a problem, because just get these guys the ball and let's go. And the other thing is Ricky's going to have time to practice now. And one thing I want to see from Ricky when he comes in is don't be afraid to throw that ball deep down the field to Gil or to JRS. Throw the 50-50 ball and throw it in a place where only they can catch it, right? Like throw it where either they're going to make an incredible catch or it's going to be out of bounds. Because they have proven, and they did it a few times with Steve, JRS on his first touchdown catch, JRS on his second touchdown catch, Gil on his, excellent, toe tapping catch. Jonte Cook almost had a toe tapping catch, but his foot was just on his toe was on the line. Like throw that ball up in a place where your receivers have to make a spectacular catch or it's an incompletion, and let your receivers make those plays because these guys will.
100%. We've joked about it, but we have a couple fuck it, they're down there guys in this roster. Like guys who are just gonna go make plays for you, and you put it in their zone, and like you said, put it in a spot, let them make a great play. And if
you've said this a lot in the past too. When you throw that ball deep in college football, you're gonna get penalties. You're gonna get pass interferences. So try it. And again, we've both been on the record, even when it was Angeli, and I'm gonna be consistent when it's Ricky. If we're trying to throw the ball down the field and we throw some interceptions, that's just the cost of doing business.
Yeah. And it shows how much it opens up the difference between our offense, right? When Steve got comfortable throwing the ball down the field the last couple games versus the first couple, it's a world of difference, dude. Just you see how much the field opens up. Our running game gets better. Our short passing game starts to open up more. We get our underneath routes going because teams have to hold safeties back. Like
we've talked about this in the preseason too, right? Is college defenses have a really tough time when you mix in that deep pass because if everything is in front of the college kids, they're really good, right? Like these are really good athletes. When everything's in front of them, it's really good. This is not the NFL. They're not as disciplined. They're not as drilled. When you start throwing the ball over people's heads and the safeties have to be like, oh, do I come up against the run or do I have to play deep against the pass? We saw it for us versus Tennessee when our safeties were like cheating on the run. They were just threw a deep ball and it was gone. And that's what you have to do against college teams. Like you have to mix in that deep pass because you have to have these kids thinking behind them and in front of them. And so I want to make sure we still continue to do that with Ricky. And you know what? I fully trust Nixon because when has Nixon ever not led us the right way, right? Like Nixon is an excellent offense coordinator. I'm sad that in very soon he's going to end up a head coach. He might even be an NFL head coach. He's that good. I really believe that. But Nixon just he's going to chef some stuff up, and I trust him to do that. And I just want to see us continue to try to throw the ball down the field. And I don't want Ricky to be scared to throw interceptions.
I agree, man. And Coach Nixon, honestly, both coordinators deserve a game ball yesterday because they were both fantastic.
All three coordinators.
True. Special teams as well. But Coach Nixon, man, I agree. I'm interested to see what he dials up for Ricky, but just to touch on yesterday a little bit, absolute masterclass from him as an offensive coordinator, I have to say. I just thought everything I wanted to see from our offense seemed to happen yesterday. He was a step and a half ahead of that Clemson defense all day long. Just honestly, incredible job by him. And really taking a unit that was not looking very sharp a couple weeks ago against UConn and just looking like a dramatically different football team yesterday.
The other thing is,
E-Rob, honestly, E-Rob really we've talked about, I think that was the best game of his tenure at Syracuse. The defense just played with the level of effort and intensity that I don't think have seen week to week from Syracuse defenses. And I have to give him his kudos for that. The defense really, really stepped up.
So two things on that. First on Nixon, right? Totally agree with you. There was also a point, and this is just personal for me, where we started running the ball. Then we threw a touchdown pass. Then we threw 8 passes in a row, got a field goal. And I then said to you, I would love to go back to the run. I was like, let's not get away from the run. What do? We run the ball down their throat on the next drive for a touchdown. So it was everything you wanted to see, the way you wanted the game to build for Syracuse. Nixon was just excellent. And it got our team in the game. He got our running backs in the game. He got the other team worried about the run. And then boom, Angeli was hitting guys over the top. So it was just perfectly executed from Nixon in this game. Mixing in Willis, mixing in Nixon, mixing in the pass, getting the ball to Cook, getting the ball to JRS, getting the ball to Gill. Like, he did a really good job mixing in all the playmakers. So excellent job from him. And then one thing, we played our game. We're going to play it again today. One question. And my one question in the preview was, can we blitz? Well, we can blitz.
We did. And I think we honestly I hope found something a little bit rushing the passer. I thought it was by far the most the most disruptive our D line has been this year as a unit. And I think a couple guys getting increased snaps. Obviously, Tremble saw a lot of PT yesterday. Reese was good yesterday. I was really happy to see Chase Simmons get a lot of snaps back at defensive end. I thought he was really disruptive and somebody I think I just want to see play a lot more at that end position.
And they did. As he started getting momentum in that second half, he started playing more and more.
He was earning those snaps, and he was getting rewarded for it. But I mean, how many times was he beating one guy, kind of getting blocked on a double team, like ending up at Klubnik's feet, but making him feel stuff? Like, we just really played with effort yesterday, it felt like, on the defensive end of the ball. We wanted to prove something, and I'm really impressed, honestly, with just that unit as a whole.
Hey, one of the things, you were saying Chase Simmons was earning those snaps. And one of my favorite things about the Fran Brown era, and obviously there's everything we love about Fran, but one of the great things about the culture of Fran Brown is, like, you have to win your snaps. You have to earn your snaps. And when guys start playing, there isn't this attachment from Fran of, oh, I felt like this guy was better, so I want to keep giving this guy snaps. No, if you're playing well, you're going to earn those snaps. We've seen that with, like, Cornell Perry starting to earn snaps on defense, right? He's just played well in that secondary, so he's just earned some snaps from Fran. See Simmons yesterday. He played well. He started to earn those snaps from Fran. That's just the kind of culture of compete. And if you're out competing the guy next to you, you're going to get the snaps. And I love that from Fran.
I totally agree. I think we'll hopefully continue to see that, but I just think it's really encouraging when you see. I think the best football teams, right, are the ones that have different guys kind of contributing week to week, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a new guy who's showing up week to week because, like you're saying, they've earned a new opportunity, or they know they've got to play their ass off in those limited opportunities if they want to get on the field more. And I think it's like one of the biggest indicators of just a well-coached, good cultured football team is that you have guys week to week that are different guys showing up and making plays and having an impact. And we're starting to see that from the Syracuse program, man. I think we really, really saw that yesterday. It was extremely encouraging.
Finally, the last thing we want to touch on in our honorable mentions here. We're going to touch on a few special teams people. First, we're going to start with Stonehouse. I was rejected from putting Stonehouse in my top 3 stars, and I'm going to try to put him in the top 3 stars every single time because I just think he's just an excellent player, and I'm excited to have Stonehouse at Syracuse for as long as we have him, and then I'm going to be very excited to watch him on Sundays. So Stonehouse had 5 punts yesterday. 6 punts, sorry. It's 6 punts yesterday. 4 were inside the 20. He punted for 270 yards of an average of 45 yards a punt. And one of the reasons I wanted to talk about him is in our preview, we had discussed how do you not let an offense that's, not playing well, how do they get clicking? By giving them short fields. What did we do? We just had our excellent NFL punter go out and put them inside their own 20. How many times did that lead to them having to make a decision at midfield on 4th and short to actually go for it and not kick field goals, not get points? A lot. So Stonehouse, just excellent, just absolutely excellent. He also had an unbelievable hold on our 49-yard field goal. Credit to Trip Woody. 49-yard field goal. He was 2 for 2 in field goals, 4 for 4 in extra points. Perfect day for Woody. But that snap was up here. Stonehouse, boom, boom, perfect. I mean, it's a little play, but that's an NFL specialist, right? A guy who can do everything for you. So just another excellent game from Stonehouse.
Yeah, I mean, Stonehouse was awesome. He's an awesome punter, great specialist. Again, the special teams unit was just awesome yesterday. Like, got us an extra possession. We're really just dialed in across the board. Really sure tackling, punt coverage again was great yesterday. Kickoff coverage good again as well. Like, there are not holes on this team on that unit, which, as we've talked about, was a major problem. Would even be underselling how bad our special teams was last year. This transformation, honestly, is kind of hard to believe. Like, it's hard to believe how different we look with that unit on the field.
Last year, I think we were asking for just competence. Like last year, we were like competence, and Fran knew it was a problem last year. And credit to Fran, he went and he adjusted to make sure that we got not only competence, but we've actually got plus special teams play this year. So
we're gaining yards and points there every week. It feels
it's fantastic. So credit to them. Credit to Brumfield, who's completely turned it around. It's actually his birthday today, so happy birthday to Brumfield. Yeah. So Fran tweets all those out so you see them. But but just an excellent game. What a call to go for it. Everybody on the special teams unit. The other thing is, how safe do you feel back there when Kerr and Samuel, they trade off returning punts? I feel so safe with those guys returning punts. Knock on wood that continues. But like those guys, they seem to call the fair. By the way, Kerr got hit after calling a fair catch, no penalty. That was ridiculous. You can't hit a guy.
That was funky. He did kind of do a funky one of these, but I don't know. It was a little weird. Yeah,
but he did the fair catch and he went down like this, right? But they blew the whistle. So if you're gonna blow the whistle for a fair catch, you can't let the guy get hit.
Yeah, it was weird. That was a weird sequence.
That was a penalty. It's not weird. That was just a missed call.
The ACC was trying to start with a little bit of referee sorcery yesterday.
They did. I mean, Clemson got every fucking call yesterday. They had one on Demetrius Samuel, pass interference down the field. He barely touched the guy down the field. It was pass interference. He barely touched the guy. Get out of here. We haven't let up any really big returns. There was a couple potential ones. Randall's a hell of a player, to be honest. The guy going from wide receiver to running back. I thought he was real. I think at some point it's going to click for that kid. I think he's going to be actually pretty good.
I agree. I mean, he kind of has and again, it's a little bit of my Commanders bag, but he has a little bit of an Antonio Gibson feel to him, right? That converted receiver, but a big guy. And when he gets moving, he looks really good. To your point, I think earlier, I don't know why Clemson got away from the outside edge runs, those little tosses, the sweeps, because that's what was working for them. They abandoned that pretty early on. They had that one possession, they ran it 3 times in a row, didn't really ever go back to it.
You want to know why? It's because the game flow. We talked about it. You have to put them under pressure. One of the reasons you're able to put them under pressure is not letting them run the ball because they have to worry about passing it. They got pass happy because they were down by multiple scores the whole game. And that is something we really called for. We knew that was going to be key because if we allow this team to set up shop, get a lead, run the ball down our throat, that would not have been a successful way for us to go about this game. So,
all right, let's get into our media availability segment. I'm hot. This is where we gotta start. I'm fucking hot, Tav. I'm pissed the fuck off. Klubnik, fuck you, Klubnik, piece of shit. Fucking faking injuries. When. I tweeted it, and I hope he sees it. You look like a loser, you talk like a loser, and you play like a loser. You're not even gonna be a draft pick. You're supposed to be like this Heisman favorite, first round draft pick, buddy. You're gonna be in the fucking CFL, dude. Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here, man. Fucking Syracuse is faking injuries. We're the only team in the country that occasionally goes down to stop momentum. It's a thing that happens, all right? Defensive linemen cramp up. They're big guys. They're working hard. There was a fucking 2-hour weather delay that Dabo planned in the middle of this game. You can get the fuck out of here, dude. Plus, you got the refs on your side. Clemson's a team full of fucking scumbags who are always trying to injure players. That is a hallmark of Dabo teams. When they get down, they just try to injure your players. How many high hits did we see against Angeli? I mean, even the one where he initially hurts his knee, the guy doesn't get his face mask, but Woodaz is trying to fucking grab his face mask.
He's trying to, yeah. I know we were talking about that. This is kind of how Clemson plays. You start to beat them in ACC games. It starts to get a little extra physical. They start to take shots up at the head after the play. This is how they operate when they start to lose, and it's not a huge surprise.
They had 3 or 4 personal foul penalties for roughing the quarterback, roughing guys out of bounds, and we got a taunting penalty for going like this. That game was ridiculous. They played so dirty in that game, and they always do. So it's not a surprise. But
no, this has happened with them before, and Klubnik is. It's just, dude, you gotta be smarter than this in the media availability after the game, man. You did not play well, and to just start to blame on a couple plays where Syracuse went down after some gains. Dude, this game wasn't close. This wasn't a close.
Does he have a year left? See if a year of eligibility left.
I
Have
believe
fun at
he's
Appalachian State, brother.
I mean, it's just like be more delusional. Like you guys got your butts handed to you today. Like
Yeah,
this
like
isn't-
like don't throw interceptions. Maybe make a play. You know,
Right.
maybe don't look like a headless chicken running around with your head cut off.
convert on a 4th down. You know, like he did not play well today, and to deflect the blame and not be accountable, like it's just not a good look. And
It's not Dart.
no. I mean,
not
look,
Dart.
you look at that interview, you understand why Clemson's struggling this year, dude. Like it's a pretty good indicator for why that team is not playing very well. Like guys aren't clearly bought in. They're clearly not being accountable. Like that's a talented roster. Something's not clicking there though, and you can just hear it in the attitudes.
I mean, that's your leader. That's your guy. That's your leader. That's your guy.
Your senior
Couldn't be
quarterback.
Angeli. Couldn't be Ricky Collins. How about Ricky? A media availability. One thing I love to hear was they asked Ricky, "How do you feel for Steve?" He's like, "That's my brother. I feel absolutely terrible for Steve. You know, we're like a family here. You never want to see a guy go down." He says all the right things because you know why? He actually is bought in. And credit to Ricky. Ricky has hung in there. It was not an easy position he was put in. Named the starter in spring. They get a last minute transfer of Angeli. He loses it in a close quarterback battle to Angeli. Angeli then starts the season on fire. All the talk is about how good Angeli is. Fran's like, that's our guy. He's our leader. Game 4, Angeli looks like he probably might have a season-ending injury. And Ricky is thrust into the middle of a game where
Seriously,
you are already winning, and there's really only downside for Ricky. Like if Ricky played great, it wouldn't have mattered. We would have still been talking about Angeli. Would have still been talking about how good the team played. But all he could do, the only thing that he could do that would have gotten his name in headlines in this game was if he blew it. And what did he not do? He didn't blow it. He didn't turn the ball over. He kept it safe. He threw a touchdown pass. He did everything we needed him to do. So credit to Ricky. Ricky's hung in the fire, and I loved hearing what he had to say after the game.
I totally agree, dude. I'm proud of Ricky. I'm happy that Ricky's going to get an opportunity. It just sucks. Obviously, it has to come at the expense of something just so awful to Steve like that. But I've been impressed with how Ricky's handled this throughout, dude. I think he's kept his head up. He's been #1 cheerleader on the side. It's just, I know it's goofy. That's something I look for when a guy loses a starting job. You see it in both sports, football and basketball. I want to see active, supportive teammates on the sideline. When Cuse started making that comeback against UConn a couple weeks ago, who was the most active guy on that sideline? It was Ricky Collins, dude.
And Justin Barron.
And right.
But you know, you talk about it in basketball too, and what's one thing we've seen in basketball the last couple years? It's just a dead bench. It's no energy. Everybody on those teams has been worried about themselves. There's been a lot of selfishness in our basketball program the last couple years, and you want is get your bench hyped. Like you look at even in the NBA, the best teams are the ones who have those bench guys, those glue guys who are cheering after the play. They're throwing towels, they're doing funny celebrations. Like, you know, that's what I want to see from our basketball team, but you see that culture on the football team. And that's a credit to Fran Brown. It's a credit to getting guys to buy in. But you know what else it is? It's a credit to him recruiting the right type of guys. There's no Klubniks on our team. There's no guys selfish. There's no guys crying about what the other team might do. Everything's about us. Everything's about the team. Everything's about being a family. We talked about it last week. How excited was everybody for Williams when he caught his touchdown? You know, a local kid making good, having a big moment. Daryl Gill's so hyped. Daryl Gill was more hyped for that Williams touchdown last week than he was for his own touchdown this
100%.
week. You know what I'm saying? Like,
that's the culture we're building, dude. And yet, I mean, think about just dating back to last year, right? When Kyle McCord had a couple just kind of nightmare games, dude, like Stanford and Pittsburgh. He certainly didn't sound like Cade Klubnik after those games.
No.
Kyle stood there and he fucking took it at the in those pressers, and he was accountable, right? Like that's.
But you know what? He also had Fran behind him. He knew he had a coach who believed in him, and Fran made that clear. So he also wasn't being coached by Dabo.
I agree. I'm just trying to draw a comparison.
Yeah, no, totally.
5-star quarterback who has these expectations has a lot of pressure on it, right? It's just not. It's not how you should be conducting yourself, and I think it's a pretty good indicator for why that program is struggling right now, dude. Like it seems like a group of guys that aren't bought in. Like why did it feel like at the end of that game that the most spirited I saw of the Clemson team was when three of their guys are talking to Fran Brown after the
Their
game.
3 best guys.
That was the
Woods,
most into
Parker.
the game any of those 3 guys looked all fucking afternoon, to be honest with you. Like,
I actually thought Woods was okay in this game.
I thought Woods was okay, but Terrell got dusted all day long.
Yeah.
Parker was nowhere to be found. Yep.
Parker had a terrible game, I thought. I thought Woods actually played really well. It's hard when you're a defensive tackle and you're not getting anything else in the support. Because I thought we had their linebackers running around like dumbasses in that game.
Totally.
But it's hard, I think, as a defensive tackle with no support. And then Terrell got burnt, but I don't even blame Terrell. He's going up against some of the best receivers in the nation, bro.
It's true. It's true. We got horses, dude. But I thought that was interesting. Like, for a team that looked pretty lifeless to have like energy greeting our coach after the game, like that's not a great look for that.
No. Fran, he was asked about Angeli. He said he basically indicated it's gonna be a longer time injury, which I think we all know. I think we're pretty sure it's an Achilles. It looks like that. It's we're all being doctors from the sidelines, but it doesn't look good. And Fran, you see Angeli there. There's that clip that's circulating on social media. I think Angeli's sitting there with his mom in the boot. And you just see Fran go up to him, and you can just see how much Fran, he genuinely does care about these kids. And that comes off. It comes off as so genuine because it is. And it's just something that I'm so proud of to have from a head coach, because at the end of the day, these are kids putting their body on the line for Syracuse University. Obviously, we're alumni and we love Syracuse University. And these kids going out there and, risking their health for our enjoyment, for our sport. I mean, it is a little bit for them. I know they get paid a little bit now, but they're doing it for the S, right? And that's what Fran said. We do it for the S. And Fran going over and sticking with Angeli, and he wouldn't say what he said, but he did say, I went and told him I loved him because we're a family here. And that was great to see, because where Angeli is mentally right now, he must be in such a dark place, such a tough place. And it's so good to not only see Ricky supporting him, but seeing your coach support him, and still just showing players love. Like, just everything Fran does and talks, and he had a lot of energy in that post game because he was hyped up for himself. But take the moment to go talk to Angeli and still be the coach for him. Angeli hasn't been here that long, and Fran fully embraces the kid, and he brings him in. He brings him in as part of the family, and I think that's one of the reasons Kyle last year was so beloved, but also why Kyle bought into Syracuse so much. And Kyle still kind of buys into Syracuse. I think you saw that even after he get drafted, right? Like he loved his time at Syracuse, and I think a big reason for that is Fran. So just in his post game, I thought Fran hit every good note again.
I do too. It hurts. My heart hurts for Steve, man. It's the kid, right, who he's been on a football journey, right? He got to go to Notre Dame, has been passed over a bunch of times, finally feels like he's got this opportunity.
He's leading the country in passing.
Totally. He's finding his stride. Like, it's starting to click. He sees the opportunity in front of him. Like, it hurts.
He's leading the country in passing, and 2.5 quarters into the game, he's at 250 pass yards, 2 TDs, no interceptions. He's playing absolutely fantastic.
Let's note, too, this Clemson defense we've talked about this. The reason Clemson has struggled up until yesterday has not been their defense, right?
No, they've not kept them in it.
I believe my math is correct on this. We scored more in the first half yesterday than they've given up to anybody in a full game, right? Like, that's how well we were operating. I believe that Georgia Tech final was 24-21.
Tied, because Georgia Tech finished with 24, and we had 24 at the end of the first half.
We equaled the highest point total of a full game against Clemson in those first few games, and that was against LSU and Georgia Tech, dude. We were humming with Angeli in this first half of this game, and that's what hurts, man. I just felt like we were clicking in a way that, we were looking like literally an elite college offense in that first half yesterday.
We were. Finally, the last guy I wanted to touch, well, not the last guy. Not finally. Cut that. We're going to cut that and come back in. Devin Grant post game. So Devin Grant, I love this guy, dude. He's just fun, man. You watch him in these post game interviews. He's just fun. Like, he's got good energy. He's happy. He's like Devin Grant seems like a guy I want to be on a team with.
100%. 100%.
All right. Finally, I do want to touch on Dabo. We made him cry. Yikes.
You knew the tears were coming out in a loss after this game, dude. You knew he was going to use the tears as the first layer of defense after this game.
Does Clemson have to fire him? I mean, you're his earliest and probably biggest hater, so you're probably going to say yes. But
I am the Dabo hater, the original Dabo hater. The shtick has rubbed me the wrong way for well over a decade. I honestly don't know where to go with this right now. Like, he kind of feels like I'm saying earlier, like you're screaming at an old dog right now. Like, he's crying in the press conference. He clearly looks a little lost with this team right now. And like, coming into this week, I know we were talking about it, I was like, you could fire Dabo, but you're not doing better than him. The next couple of weeks are going to be honestly interesting to look at because you can't have a team that looks like this. Like, Clemson can't go 3-9. Like,
they can though, because Clemson was nothing before Dabo, and when he's gone, and I'm not saying they have to keep him because I don't care, but when he's gone, they're going to go back to being just a mediocre program. That's what they were before him. Like, they had talented guys, but they never won anything before him.
They probably will. They'll probably go back to a middling, mediocre.
They're a 6-6 program. It's really tough to compete down there. You know, you've got South Carolina, who I think they should definitely keep Beamer because I think he's great for them.
Oh yeah.
And then you've got all those other programs down there in the SEC to compete against. It's not easy to recruit there.
No, I don't think they're even, like you said, I don't think they're the best program in South Carolina anymore. And that was that was a shoe-in for the last 15 years, you know?
But before that, it was not a shoe-in.
It wasn't. It wasn't at all. But it's just, it is interesting. And like I said, like, look, I will bury him every which way. He did a horrible job yesterday. He's annoying in the press conferences. Keep running down that hill, you goofball. Like, it really looks great when you're getting your ass beat by 3 touchdowns by Syracuse. Like, but I'm honestly at a loss for this situation because I honestly kind of think, like, if he's just going to quit and the team looks like it's quitting like this, you almost have to kind of have the conversation. I think you probably bring him back next year, but if it doesn't get any better,
tight leash.
I think you've probably got to consider making a change.
I mean, the other thing is the ACC is getting better. The ACC's been down. There's been a lot of programs in the ACC that should be good that haven't been good. You know, Miami is one. Florida State's another one. Like, those two programs should be top tier football schools, and they haven't been. They're more blue blood than Clemson is blue blood.
Totally. And like, I feel like the other pieces, teams like us, right? Louisville,
BC.
These teams are getting better in the middle of the conference. And so, like, Clemson,
we're not doormats the way we used to be.
Clemson close their eyes and wake up in the ACC championship game for a decade, right? And that's just
not that way anymore.
It's not the case anymore. Like, you've got your Georgia Techs in there, right? Like, these are teams that are competitive. And if you don't show up to play, you're down 3 touchdowns to one of these teams at home, right? Like, and that Dabo didn't have to worry about that through September, October, and November up until now. And like, now we're seeing it. Like, there's the margin for error is so much thinner for them right now. And you can see, like, he isn't a coach who seems to be comfortable playing within those close games or when that talent level gets a lot closer.